Good morning, this is Ben here from Maker Labs, and we're going to begin on the hot wire knife kit. In addition to the kit, you're going to need a Phillips screwdriver, a pair of scissors, and a ruler. To get started, we open the kit. The black part comes off. It's not particularly easy, but if you need help, you can use the scissors and just push the scissors up against there, moving it around like that. And to open up, you might have to squish this a little bit to get the parts to come out. And there's everything. You'll need 2 batteries. You've got some foil tape. I think there's a long piece here and a slightly shorter piece. You've got the top. You've got 2 of these. You've got this special bridge piece. You've got a button. You've got this. You've got a pair of screws. You've got this little wire. You've got some tape on this wire so it doesn't get lost. Gravity loves these wires, and they always end up under people's chairs. I don't know why that is, but you'll need that, and then you've got this. This is the base piece, and you can push out any pieces that didn't come out until you've got everything cleared up. And we're ready to get started. For the first step, we are going to assemble all of the wooden pieces, except for this circle, that goes somewhere else, into a framework. So we take these parts, they go in here like this. Notice the lines are on this side. We're going to put this on this side. We clip that on there like that and push it forward like that. Push that on there and push it out that way to set it. Push down on that corner. Set it in there. Should be pretty sturdy. And we take this piece here, do the same thing. Push that in there, all 4. If we get those in real good, that should be pretty sturdy. So now we have a frame and it leans slightly out. We're going to pull that down with tension as we put our wire on. Now we have this bridge part. Goes like this. This goes through the small hole, and the big part goes through the big hole. All right, and the last piece here is the trigger switch. And this goes right in here. It's about the only hole remaining. I'm going to fit this right in here. And I think it helps to rock it back and forth a bit as it goes in like this. Yeah, and that should sit in right there. This one's nice and tight all around. Now this is an optional step, but once you get to this point, you can take some glue and just add a little bit of glue to the joints where you think it would be helpful. This will dry clear. Especially if you're using this in a school or something where multiple kids are going to be using it. It helps to firm things up. All right, you can wipe that off with your fingers, and then your fingers will be all full of glue, which is always a fun feeling. All right, and that. For this next step, we are going to add the copper foil. Using the longer of the 2 pieces of copper foil, we're going to start from this end. We're going to go all the way around and around the trigger, and then we're going to end there. To get started with the foil tape, it helps if you hold it very close to the end and manipulate it back and forth a few times. Usually the foil will separate from the paper by doing this. Once it separates, it's important that you not peel a lot of this back. Just about an inch is enough. And then we'll get started here at the very end of this part here. We're going to just wrap this around here to to get started. Now we need copper on both sides of these pieces because we're going to add wire later that goes around here and it needs to connect to this. And we'll just take this back. I'm going to pull enough back so I can go the length of this piece, and I'm going to stretch it long, and I'm going to bring it right and lay it right down through there. Yeah. And then I'm going to like press it on. And here I'm just going to bridge the gap here between these two. And push it into the corners now, because if I don't push it into the corners now, then somebody could come later and push it into the corners and they might break the tape. It's very important that we not break the copper tape, but notice I only have a few inches at most exposed at any one time. If this tape touches itself, you'll probably end up breaking it when you try to untangle it. So it's pretty important that you don't remove the backing from more than just a few inches at a time. When we get here, you can put your fingernail down like this and then pull it against your fingernail and it will cut right off. So we need to go up and over the trigger, and on the other side, on every surface, we're going to go on both sides of things. That's to make a good electrical contact. And here, now we've done the top of the bridge, we're now going to do this piece. Starting again at the bottom, I'm going to come up and over this little saddle that's made the right shape for this. Now here, what we want to do is we want to get into this hole here, which is where the battery will connect through the bolt. So we're just going to come across the side of this. We're going to lay it in here at an angle, trying to get it up and in there. All right, so we just want it up there, and now I'm going to take the pair of scissors and I'm just going to push this into that hole a little bit. That's just to make sure that when the bolt goes in that hole, it makes a good electrical contact. You don't really need the rest of this, but I'm just going to push it down there. All right, that's the end of this step. For this next step, we are going to cut the tube that the project came in to 4 3/8 inches, and we're going to measure that from this end, which has, as you see, a little hole in it, and this is a sealed end, not this end. Okay, from this end, we're going to measure 4 3/8 inches. So there's the measuring table there. It's got to come out to here, 4 3/8 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this quite a bit longer. I'm going to cut this at 5 inches, and then later, after I've cut it, I'm going to bring it down to 4 3/8 inches. So I start with my knife here, and I'm just going to try to pinch in and get a little bit of a poke somewhere here. And I'm out at 5 inches because this is not going to be pretty. But I'm going to come in here, I'm going to go around the bottom, and I'm going to make my initial cut. Now you'll notice that this cut is not very nice, but I have some extra to cut. So 4 3/8 inches, I'm at 5 inches. I've got to cut off 1/2 inch, so I'm going to start. Now notice I'm cutting at the bottom. I put the scissors on here and then I turn it sideways like this. That allows me to take this nice round sliver around, and I can cut around in a circle like this. And you see I'm cutting these nice curly cues, and it's very smooth on the end there. So I cut out. I'm going to keep doing this until I get it down to 4 3/8 inches. Okay, I'm right there, 4 3/8 inches. All right, you don't want to cut it any farther than that. Looks like I can take the high sides off over here and still be good. 4 3/8 inches. All right. This step, we are going to connect the battery tube to the cutter with this bolt. So we're going to take the nut off the bolt, take the nut, and slip it inside the hole we made earlier. This can be a little tricky. You need to line it up square so that it can go through. Once you get it square, it'll fit right through there. And hold that in place, maybe with 2 fingers. And it should be ready to receive the bolt. Putting the bolt on top of your drop the tube down and then push the bolt through the hole. You may have to screw this in a bit to get it to go through. All right, once you've got it screwed through, then insert it in here. And you can probably turn the whole tube, or just the screw as you like. Catch the nut and pull that all tight. Don't tighten this so tight that anything breaks, but you want to tighten it to the point that things kind of just stop moving. When it feels tight enough, that's when you should stop. Nothing should be wiggly. And there's that step. In the next step, we're going to add a little bit of copper tape to get down to the bottom of the battery. And then we're going to put the batteries in. So take this. This is the shorter of the two pieces of foil tape. We want to start this foil tape at a point just above where the switch is and come straight down the side of the tape like that. Now we can get about 1/4 of an inch off of the tube here, and we want to cut that, and then we want to fold this underneath there. It's very important that there's copper inside here. It goes up here, and then we're going to rotate this around until it's underneath the switch. And when we press on the copper, it's important that this copper touches. That this copper touches very neatly on that copper tape, because that's our switch right there. And that will connect the circuit. That will connect the top of the wire all the way down through here to the bottom of the battery. Now, to connect to the bottom of the battery, we have this piece and this piece. We're going to take this and fit it in here. Press it down in there a bit. Let's go ahead and put these batteries in here like this. And take this, and we'll just do a dry run here of closing this up on the batteries. And there should be some pressure here. And we should be able to close this, but maybe not quite. We want there to be plenty of pressure on that battery. And then when we're done, we'll pull this out. This will have set down where it needs to be for us to close it. And I'm going to take some last piece of tape here, and you see what happens if it rolls up on itself. It's never friendly. And I'm going to put it across here. And I have to make sure that at least one side or the other comes out. This is going to go right over it, and it's very important that you push this into the edges here. Because when you put the batteries in, the batteries certainly will. And if you create a bridge there, the batteries will break the tape on you. That is an area where this whole system can fail. So we're going to put the copper tape around the outside there to that edge, and we'll do the same on this side. Just rubbing it in as we go. And now we're going to put this part on here. It's important that the copper tape lines up, because the copper tape needs to touch in order for the connection to be made. Also important to know that the buttons here are pointed down. Right? The flattest part of the battery is on the top, and the button part is on the bottom. That just helps with the fit and the springiness and all of the things, right? So there we go. Everything's in position. Hopefully we're in good shape. We're down to the last step. Take that little piece of wire with the green tape on it and hold it here in the middle. What we're going to do is we're going to take the bottom and wrap it around like this. Just wrap it around there. It's going to squeeze on that copper tape, kind of tighten itself up there. Last one, and once around with that piece. And then we're going to go to the top. Now here, we can slightly depress this till it's about flat. That will put some pressure on the wire, and that will keep it straight. And then just take this wire, go around here a couple times, and it should lock on. At the very end here, you can kind of like loop that back around the wire, and then we're done. Now if you can get that tape off of there, or just push it down to one side, it's fine. Now for testing, hold it like this and press this switch together right here, and press it and hold it. And then slice it through the tape. I'll show you something fun to do. If you take this and you rock it like this as you go through the styrofoam, it will make an interesting pattern. Isn't that cool?